Hey everyone, I'm Victoria and this is Melissa Mills. Thank you for being here. Hey Melissa, how are you going?
I'm good, babes. I'm really looking forward to this conversation and where we're going to go, right? I feel like you and I, we're both mediums here in New Zealand. Our paths have collided and it's like come into this beautiful vortex that we're going to create.
Yeah, it's so funny. We're just like cracking up because we're so similar. We are just talking about how we both talked to Michael Jackson. You've got 3 kids, I've got 2. You are currently still in lockdown in Auckland, and yeah, it's been a crazy freaking year. So both psychic mediums, both entrepreneurs as well. So we both help people to shine to their greatest kind of, I want to say like consciousness, like to expand.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah, that came from you. I just projected that from you. So amazing. Can I ask you a question? When was the first time that you realized or acknowledged or, kind of became aware that you were a psychic medium?
I was in denial for a very, very, very long time. And I think this is so potent for everyone to kind of know that I think a lot of us get in denial, right? We're like, no, I don't have these gifts. I'm not any different. So for me, I grew up as an only child. So I had imaginary friends all the time, because who else was I going to play with? Now I know, of course, that's spirit. But the first time I kind of semi-acknowledged, I was 18 years old. I was studying to be a primary school teacher, and one of my friends read for me in the uni library. She pulled out these oracle cards and she was like reading it, and I'm like, I didn't even know what oracle cards and tarot cards were. I was, born and raised in the Catholic kind of religion. So, yeah, a lot of us have gone there, right? So it wasn't something that was in my realm. Like I didn't know what a psychic was, definitely didn't know what a medium was. So when she said all this stuff to me, I was like, how do you know this? Like, who's telling you? How have you searched this about me? Right. And she keeps saying, you need to do this. You're a medium. And I was like, oh, no. This is not my path at all. And yeah, I was in the closet for probably a good, I'm trying to think, I'm not the best with maths. I was 25 when I first started out as a psychic medium doing readings in my dining room table, 7 months pregnant.
Wow.
So it took me a good maybe 7 years to come out of the closet.
I love that you were pregnant. Was that with your first child?
My second.
Your second, so, okay. So
I was a primary school teacher. So the reason I even started this was because I was on a fixed term contract, pregnant, no job to go to. So I was like, well, everyone keeps telling me that I'm supposed to do this. I'd gone to a fair few psychics because I was like, let's just double check. Yeah. Every single one of them was like, you need to do this. You need to do this. And I was like, what the hell? Like, I wanted to be the next Britney Spears. Like I had no dream of being a psychic medium. So yeah, 7 months pregnant, I was like, what else am I going to do? This was only ever supposed to be a hobby. And 9 years later, here I am.
Oh my God. And it's so funny because with my first daughter, I wasn't even like aware. Like I did know what psychic mediums were, but it was kind of like stay away from them. And it was in our family. So like my great grandmother was a psychic medium, but it was kind of like given up to the church, not spoken about. We just knew the little secret stories that we weren't really allowed to tell people. But it was really funny because when I was pregnant with my second child, James Bond, the most funniest thing happened was I was literally woken up. This was 6 years ago. And I was like, literally like spirit was coming to me. I thought I was going crazy. It's like he woke me up. So I think this is really amazing for people that are listening to this.
My second is a boy. I think you have boys, don't you?
I have a girl and then a boy.
Oh yeah. So I have girl, boy, girl.
Yeah.
Maybe it's a boy, like awakening energy or something.
So well, he's dynamite. He's amazing, my little boy. And I feel like he saved my life, even though it was so hard, because in awakening, I don't know about for you, but it wasn't easy for me. It was like it was like I had a choice to live or die. Now that sounds very dramatic. I do things pretty dramatically. I'm a 3/5 projector, so I'm like kind of like smash into walls and learn. But I was like, do I drop all this guilt and all this conditioning of what the hell I'm supposed to be as this good little Catholic girl? Because I don't really want to go to church, or I don't really want to put these rules and stuff on my children. Or do I embrace this gift that I knew that was there that I hadn't yet tapped into? So it sounds like you had the same type of knowing that you're a medium before you were even a medium.
Yeah. And you know what? For me as well, like you think 9 years ago, it was 2012. So I opened the doors. This is so like goosebumpy. I opened the doors to Melissa Mills HQ, as I call it, September 12th, 2012. Now, I had no idea, but my favorite uncle in the whole wide world, who, as my step uncle, was murdered by Somalian pirates when I was 11 years old. And that was my first kind of taste of mediums, is because his body was never found. We had mediums tell us what happened, and every single medium all around the world has said the same thing. Now, I never remembered his date of passing or anything like that, but I opened the doors on his anniversary of passing. And so it was kind of like I was that wave of that 2012 light workers, and my uncle Alan was the one really encouraging me to do this work. But I had no one who looked like me. I was 25, you know, Tyler Henry hadn't come out yet. There was nobody.
Tyler Henry wasn't even born then.
No, he was.
I know.
But, you know, it's like everyone was, you know, it seems crazy because, you know, I'm 34 now, but it's like everyone was like 40 or 50 or 60. And I was like, who's going to take me seriously?
Well, it's a different paradigm though, right? It was like, you're a psychic medium and there's rules with this. And this is what's happening with the world now, is we're shifting these paradigms. And this is why I've got Magnificent Mediumship. I know you work with people and work with their abilities. We do this as coaches. We're psychic medium coaches, for goodness sakes. And that's because
it's the best of both worlds with us.
Yeah, exactly. Because we can see your patterns and your conditioning and move it anyway. But I find it really, really fascinating, because we had an interesting point of view that if you're a psychic medium, it's because you saw dead people from the time you were like a baby. Now that is true, but it's not as it seems.
No, exactly. It's not like, I don't predominantly see, I don't know what's your strongest sense, but I am mostly clairaudient, which means that I hear all the time. So not all the time, I switch it off. But so for me, I'm like, no, I don't want to hear things all the time. But that's how it works for me. And I'm hearing voices, or it's my own voice that's not my voice. And so that's predominantly how I work. So I would love to be like, yeah, I'm at the supermarket and I see dead people everywhere, but I'm like, that would scare the bejesus out of me. But yeah, it's not, I think people have this real misunderstanding because of movies like, what's that really scary movie I can't bring to like watch it, where it's like
The Exorcist?
No, but it's the baby's in the cot, and then there's like things like spirit moving and you know, like those kinds of movies. I'm like, that's not what mediumship is.
No. And I mean, there is different sides to it. There's a darker side, like everything in life. But I know for me, with you just saying that, what's really interesting, what I want to share with everyone who's listening to this, is when you have got mind chatter, when you are like going, oh, I'm so busy in my head type of thing like that, a lot of the time it's spirit trying to communicate with you, because you've got this, I want to say, underlying gift. And I say underlying because it's like it's you haven't brought it out to be seen yet. And I was having my breakdown because when I was pregnant, I had this girl Emma coming through to me who I went to school with, and she had passed away. And I quite often had people coming through in like thoughts, or all of a sudden you just visually can see them in your head, and you're like, oh, that granddad died 20 years ago. I can see him bright as day. Or somebody else's grandma or whatever. And you just have this, or you have a feeling of, oh, I feel so much love for you right now. And you're like, that's not even my feeling. Oh my God, it's like a grandma. And then the thing is, we never ask those questions. Whose voices are these? What am I actually feeling? What am I actually seeing? Why am I seeing this? Who does this actually belong to? And when you start asking those questions, and like you said, you're clairaudient, I'm kind of like, I feel like I'm all the things. It depends.
But you will be all the things, but you'll have one sense. I call them the clear senses, which, that's what they are. You'll have one sense that is stronger, right? So of course I can see things in my mind. I can feel it. We can, of course, when we work with mediumship, it's more evidential. So we don't work with claircognizance, which is the knowing in mediumship. We work with, the clairsent and the the clairgustience as well. We work with those. So you'll have one that's like your comfort zone. So for me, if I'm like, okay, I'll just clairaudience it because that's like my comfort. But we have all the skills. And I also want to say, and I'm sure you believe the same thing, is everybody's a medium. And it's like, sometimes we get held on this pedestal and it's like, no, everybody is a medium. We all have that ability to channel. And sometimes that will come out when we do have someone cross over, that kind of portal gets opened up, and that's when we go, is there something on the other side? Like, and that's when it opens up. And I'm sure you've had the same, where let's say I have two sisters and their father has passed away. One sister will be like, I see dad all the time. And then the other sister will be like, I don't see dad. He mustn't be with me. And I'm like, but you have all these other senses, and not like, we can't be like this, the sense of seeing is like the most important one. And if you can see that, you're the greatest thing. It's like, no, there's also like smelling them and, feeling them. That's just as important and significant. And so we have to kind of figure out what's like our best way of feeling and working with spirit. And I always bring it back to, how do you learn, right? What kind of learner are you?
Yeah.
Are you visual? Are you tactile? Are you an audio learner? So for me, I'm an audio, like I've always got music cranking and all the things. And so what's your learning style? Because that's going to be the greatest indicator of how spirit communicates with you. So
it cracks me up because my sister is clairaudient. She's a medium. She's
I've read that about you've got a sister that's a medium as well.
Both of them actually are. I've got two brothers and two sisters. One sister, pardon?
I said your parents were a bit busy.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, so my sister's clairaudient, and she actually does voice readings, like recordings, and sends them to people, so that actually makes sense. I'm not interested in doing that. I use cards mainly because I think people like the visual. I don't need cards, obviously, but I use cards, and I'm very, very visual. I like to see people when I'm doing like podcasts or interviews. I like to see it. I don't want to just hear it. So I'm very, very, I suppose, visual, but I do use my other senses. And then my other sister is actually clairvoyant. So what she does is a little bit scary, and she hasn't really stepped into it yet. She's quite a bit younger than me, but what she does is she sees with her eyes. So she'll be lying in bed. This is a bit creepy. So she's lying in bed and she'll be like, oh my God. And she'll just put the blankets over her head and she's going like, fuck off, because she can actually see like three men standing in front of her. She might not be able to see them from like, I don't know, the waist down, but she can see them with her eyes. So not even in her mind's eye, with her eyes. And I'm just like, and me and my other sister are like, damn, like, do you know how cool that is? And she's like, it is really scary. And then so of course I have to talk to her about boundaries and teach her all the things. But my other brother is just starting to, he's 29, and he's just starting to tap into like, oh my goodness, I got this message from granddad said this, and this is what happened here, and this is what's going on in the family. So he's different. He just gets like direct messages. And then I've got another brother, and he's like 20, so he isn't really kind of opened up into that as much. And I think it's kind of interesting that we think that you're a medium if you're a medium, but the coolest thing is everyone can be taught how to work underneath a car, or to become a waitress, or to read or write or whatever it is, but not everyone is interested in doing that. And I think that's a difference with us, is we were interested, we were told you had a gift, then we got an energy, I don't know about you, but I got an energy of like, damn it, I can't bloody ignore it.
I just got shoved into it. I was like, Spirit was like, yes, she's doing it. Here you go. Here's the floodgates of the clients. And, you know, I've been doing live events and all sorts of things with mediumship. I've been really passionate about it. I've even bought, you know, like spirit hugs to New Zealand and, you know, all sorts.
I remember that.
Yeah. And seeing like your sister would make shows so much easier, so much easier, right? But when you're doing, you know, live events and you're standing there and I've got this person, who do they belong to? If you really have that heightened sense of sight, it makes doing live events a gazillion times easier.
We should so do, since we're both in New Zealand, we should so do a live event together. My God. I have never done a live event. I do Facebook lives all the time and do readings for my groups and stuff, but I've never had, I've always seen everyone says that, right? I've seen myself on a stage. I get that.
I was going to be the next Britney Spears, Hannah. So I've been seeing myself on a stage ever since I was like very young.
I should have been a bloody actress. I tell you that now. I feel you. Maybe we were just given this so we could actually go and do our lives at work, but we should definitely one day next year do a live event, I reckon, like meet halfway in Hamilton.
Make it happen. Yeah. I'm always up for a holiday and things, but I want to just say it's a journey, and it's not a straightforward journey, and working with spirit takes effort. I truly always say to people that our loved ones are communicating with us all the time. And it's actually up to us to develop or actually remember our own mediumship ability, because throughout the ages, if we look back at ancient civilizations, mediumship is something we did all the time. Like, it wasn't even something that we, you know, did a big hoo-ha about. It was just what we did. We celebrated the dead, we communicated with them, we asked for their guidance and all of that. And somewhere along the way in medieval times, and religion kind of came in, and it saw how powerful it is to communicate with the other side, right? Because it connects us to the greatest force in the universe, which is love. And so in order to kind of be able to manipulate the folks, all of what we do got deemed evil and bad and all of that kind of stuff, that we've forgotten. We've forgotten how to tap into these natural skills that we have. And people like you and I, who are true, you know, trailblazers and innovators and all the things that we are, we're just waking people up to what they have always been able to do. And we're bringing it. And I feel like this is why I started so young, was because it's like, I'm just your average kind of girl who loves pink clothes, stilettos, and all, you know, like all the pretty things. I don't have a crystal ball. And it's like, you and I, we're bringing it to the modern people, and they go, oh, this is what it is. Oh, I've been doing this my whole life. It's like,
and
you have
going into the crystal shop. I used to go into the crystal shop. I love the crystal ball in Thames. I used to always go in there. But I remember going in there and being like, oh, can she read my mind? Oh, when I was like 23, when it started happening, and I was like, oh, better put those rosary beads in my pocket. Better, you know, I put crystals in my pocket now, but I put rosary beads in there. And I was always told crystals are bad, pendulums are really bad, all of that type of stuff. And then now it's funny because we have to have those experiences, and that's probably why we were brought up the way we were, to know how other people think. So people will look at me strange sometimes. I'm like, what? And they're like, I'm a little bit scared that you're gonna be reading my head. And I go, I can't be bothered reading your head unless we do I'm very good at doing that, because I'm very open in human design, and I'm a projector. So I dive into people's auras and I can see the things that they can do and to improve. I don't tell them their future. I want to make that very, very clear. I don't tell people their future. I can tell them possibilities, but I make it very clear. So we're actually cleaning up the mediumship paradigm of going into, like, the crystal shop is great, but another example is going in somewhere where, you know, on TV you notice the crystal ball, and then it's like,
and then the mist comes out and
it smells like mothballs over there, and then, you know, you pay $20 and there's a snake, and like, I remember screaming when I was about 5 years old. I couldn't sleep, And my mum's like, Victoria, I'm watching a scary movie. I was like, it's okay. And all of a sudden, all I saw was a crystal ball and this witch. And I started screaming and screaming and screaming and hiding. I was like 5 years old and I was traumatized. And like, no wonder I had programming and I thought I would go to hell if I ever dabbled. Like, so now we can come here and say, what fears do you guys have? Like, what patterns do you have? What is the conditioning that you have about what a medium is, what a channel is? Because like you said, Melissa, we are channeling all the time.
All the time. And is it kind of feeling like, oh, this person, I'm thinking of this person and they ring me. Guess what? You're a channeler, right?
Yeah.
That's just how it works. Oh, I get a feeling that I need to go this way, or oh, I'm going to buy this, or it's like we're channeling all the time, whether we realize it or not.
We're not just human, we're energy. It's like you feel like a friend's a little bit off with you or something's happening and you're like, what is happening here? There's something weird going on with that person or whatever. Like I actually feel like I'm stronger at that than I am with actual physical communication. I think this may be like a 5D, 3D thing as well. Like,
and definitely with the shift that's happening right now in consciousness.
Yeah.
And what I feel our roles are is we're liberating the earth. We're liberating people to realize that this is such a natural part. And actually, it's the most useful tool to have to live the life that you want. And it's kind of like your spiritual team, your loved ones, or your guides and everybody, they're just twiddling their thumbs going, when are you going to ask me to help you? And I'm like, I'm just standing there waiting for you to give me a job or to guide you. And it's like, you've got all this support that you're not using and utilizing when you're not tapping into this realm. And it's kind of like such a wasted support system, right? That we have, that we get to do life here on the physical, but that we're so multidimensional and multifaceted that we get to have the support of the beyond as well. It's like the best of both worlds. So, I know you and I could talk about this.
And it's all about receiving though. Like everything that I've learned for myself personally is it's all about receiving. If you find it very, very hard to receive a coffee from somebody, like let's put this into kind of, like an actual example, or receive a compliment. Yeah, I was going to say that. Like you look at so beautiful, and I was actually just thinking before, did I tell her she looks really, really beautiful? Because you do. I said it energetically now. But when you say you look beautiful, and you go, oh yeah, this old thing, like and that's actually like refusing. You're actually discounting that other person because you're not allowing them to give their love, which is actually a contribution. So it's really about giving and receiving. And that's the same with spirit, right? Like, and this is where what I teach in Magnificent Mediumship, and I'm sure you teach this as well, Melissa, about boundaries. I'm not going to let someone wake me up at 3 o'clock in the morning. Like if my daughter's like, Mummy, I want to tell you about this. I'd be like, no, go back to bed. Like tell me in the morning. Or if a friend turned up drunk and they want to just have a chat at 1 o'clock in the morning, my phone is off, or I'm going to tell them to go away because I'm sleeping. So why would I let spirit come in and bombard me? And what we need to understand is it's not spirit's fault. It's our fault for not having boundaries with the humans, not receiving the compliments or receiving the love. So if we can't receive from humans, then we can't receive from spirit. If we can't have boundaries with people around us, and we're buying into drama and trauma and shame and yada, 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 then the same thing is going to happen with spirit, because we are spirit. We just happen to have a body.
Yeah. And also it's like, the boundaries is so vital. And I'm glad that you teach this in your program. And this is something that I've always taught all of my students as well. I don't really teach mediumship and all that kind of stuff anymore. I don't do readings. That's something that I've decided, my role now is really to step into awakening women. I'm really into women empowerment, where we weave in all this stuff, but boundaries with spirit also includes your emotional response as well. Like if you fear it, guess what? Yes, you're going to attract those I don't even know what they're called, entities and all of that kind of stuff, because you're lowering your vibration and your frequency. So of course you're going to get like spirits that are going to drain you, like you said there. And we have to
Those
realize that
boundaries. I call them
there's a
attachments.
light in the dark. Exactly. There's attachments. Or if you're around someone who's really negative or really gossipy, their attachments are going to come on you as well. So your energy is something that you really need to have strong boundaries on as well. And I switch off, like spirit knows when I'm working. You can give me all the things, but when I'm not, I'm Netflixing and chilling and you know, getting a manicure and all the things. Like it's, you know, you have to have the boundaries. And what's that?
Oh, sorry, you just froze for a second. I think it's really important as well. Like the boundaries is 100%. The first thing I teach in Magnificent Mediumship is, first of all, cleaning yourself up, clean your house, clean your body, clean your car. I've like literally got a whole module on cleaning. And then it's like, and cleaning your energy mostly. And then it goes into boundaries, because people go, oh my God, I got to sign at 4:00 in the morning. I'm like, not acceptable, because I'm very kind of like, I'm a Virgo, I'm a projector, I'm very much like, this is the way. I'm very open in how to read and consciousness, because I don't believe there's any one way. But on the other thing, I'm very, very kind of strict on boundaries and energy, and also knowing what I'm available for.
Exactly.
It's just not okay for spirit or for human beings to manipulate or to take advantage of. And so I'm very, very particular about who I collaborate with now, extremely, and also trusting my gut. And so I'm saying this so you guys can understand it as well, and I'm sure, Melissa, this is huge for you, is trusting my very own gut and knowing that of someone smiling in front of you going, I love you so much, you're my best friend, and you're like, I feel like you're lying, then they're fucking lying.
It's being able to use our own level of discernment, especially with everything that's kind of going on, and with the added vibration of the lower energies right now, doing this work and really fine-tuning your own intuition and your own channeling ability is actually really crucial in the Earth's ascension. And the sooner we get more people into this, the sooner we can live that beautiful world that we all envision, of the peace and the harmony and everyone earning money doing what they love, and our children being schooled in a way which is so delicious to their own gifts and abilities. Like we've all seen that. We all desire it in our heart. So the way that we're going to do that is to not buy in with what's going on the outside and all the things, is actually go inside and go, what's my truth? What is my truth? What is my gut telling me? What am I really feeling? And when you have that, it opens up such a different view of the world. Like the way I see the world is so beautiful. It's thriving. I get to connect people with, you know, with people like you and have delicious conversations and be inspired and empowered. That's my reality.
And what brings you joy? That there brings you joy. So it's an orgasmic energy that we've been shamed not to feel, because you can't be a selfish bitch and be too happy when there's poverty down the road. You cannot be a selfish bitch and have a new car or a new lipstick or a new hat or whatever it is, when there's people like maybe your sister who doesn't have enough food. Like, you know, I mean, we make sure our sisters have enough food, but you know, you don't have any siblings. I've got two. You can have one of them. But it's kind of it's like how we think that we've got to fit into everybody else's reality to commiserate. But then the interesting thing is people get triggered when we're like, life can be great. They're like, no.
Yeah. But like, babes, our role is to show others what can be done, right? How can we help those that are suffering, that are in poverty, if we keep ourselves in that paradigm too? How the fuck do we shift it? How do we truly elevate the earth if we have these innate gifts? And this is for everybody. Everybody has a purpose right now. And your purpose in this world is to elevate it, to add your sacred medicine and how you add love and joy and abundance in the world. And if we keep ourselves small, no one wins. No one wins. This world just doesn't evolve. This world doesn't get better. So of course, we're going to show you what is available. And instead of being triggered by it, right? Go, wow, the universe is showing me the kind of abundance that I can have as well, right? So it's like, if you're someone who's trying to get pregnant and you see pregnant women or everywhere, instead of saying, oh, bitch, she's having a baby and I'm not, and blah, 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 though I'm totally done with children. So that's not me. I'm like, shop is closed, playground open, but the shop's closed. But it's like, instead go, thank you, universe, for showing me that this is available for me too, right? So if you see somebody that's making lots of money, instead of being like, they're a greedy bitch, or there's, like whatever, it's like, wow, look at them earning the money, doing what they love. That's available for me too.
Yeah.
Right?
But people don't know this. Like, I had to be taught this. So, because I used to live in a lot of bitterness because I'm a projector and that's my not self theme. And I find it really, really interesting now because it's like, I know that any reaction or, whatever comes up from creating actions, like whatever patterns are revealed with actions and reactions. So what I actually do with my coaching is I know that I'm going to trigger people, and it's not because I'm poking them or trying to hurt them, but I know that they sit there because
we do.
It's the energy, because we can read energy, of course, and everyone can. That's the thing, everyone can, but we know we can. So it's just different energy. So then, like, it's really interesting because then I say to people, can you see what pattern this is? If you can pick the pattern and go, well, I've had this same pattern with friend after friend after friend after friend, or every time I see that pregnant person, I've got to start thinking this drama seems to be me, not necessarily everybody else. Okay, so rather than going into judgment and shaming and blaming myself, then what is this pattern? Where did it come from? And am I ready to release it? Like, that's basics of what life coaching right there.
I feel like, with what we do, because we have the energetics within it, and I'm sure you do this as well, is you, like I said, you get a 2-for-1 deal, because not only are we able to see where it is and where it's coming from, we get to help you release it, right? And I really believe that no one heals you, you heal yourself. We just create the space, we create the vortex for you to be able to take yourself through it. We create the energy that is required for this to be transmuted back with love into the universe. So it is amazing to be a coach and a mentor in this time of Earth's ascension, especially with us bringing in our skills of the energetics and all the stuff that we have in our years and years and lifetime of mastery to be able to bring this now. And I love it. I'm sure you do. And it's like, you just see that client and you're like, I'm going to just push you a little bit. And I always say, like, I'm not available for your limitations. Like, you've got enough people cheering you on for that. I'm like,
it's so good. I like that.
When you work with me, I'm like, no, I'm not available for your pity party, but I am available for your greatness. Shall we go there? Like, let's go there instead. So I feel that it's probably like a Brene Brown thing. She always talks about being in the ring. So which ring are you in? Are you in the ring for your limitations, or are you in the ring for your possibilities?
Yeah. I was watching Wentworth. I love Wentworth. And I was like, the psychologist was like, you've got two wolves inside you. And you've got the bad wolf and the good wolf or whatever. And it's like, which one have that, right? What's that?
But we all have that. We all have the good and the bad. It's like, who you surround yourself with is going to be what part of you is brought out more. So, we're all we've all had thoughts about killing somebody. We've all had thoughts about committing fraud and what have you. Like, we've all got those thoughts. It's just whether or not we're surrounded by the people who are going to bring that out in us. That's why who you surround yourself with physically and spiritually, energetically, is so important, because they're either going to be enabling you to keep playing small, live your crappy life, right? And that's just not what I'm available for. Or you can be surrounded by people who are the true amazing human beings that are serving this planet, adding so much joy, so much passion, so much unity, and making this world thriving. If you're around those people, what do you think's going to happen? Right?
Yeah, well, they're not going to like
right?
you turn up and you start bitching and moaning about your husband. They're going to go, this is dumb. Like, can we talk about consciousness? No,
yeah.
I mean, and saying, like, just to reframe that a little bit, it doesn't mean you can't have off days. It doesn't mean that you can't. Like,
of course,
like as entrepreneurs as well, and spiritual mediums, we lean on each other to support each other. Like, I'm having a catch up with a friend today, and we're going to be like chatting, and I might need to support her, and she might need, you know what I mean? Like, it's really, really interesting. But this is a wounding, and I'm glad you brought this up, because the wounding of the broke spiritual, even
I'm not available for that anymore.
How many people have you seen, and I've seen this my whole life because I've been an observer my whole life, is seeing people that are in co-narc relationships, but I love him, you know, and it doesn't matter if he's hitting you or not. I mean, at the end of the day, that's just
cheating on you or whatever. Or
yeah, like the manipulation from having somebody who's wounded, or maybe, you know, narc, where they've got some pretty bad stuff going on, whatever, there's both, having that and going, but I see their true heart and I love them. Like, this is what we call the wounded empath type of thing. It's like, if you have loose boundaries and you allow that crap into your life, and I'm sure most people have had this.
We've all done it. I've done it.
Yeah, I have too, and I've been with my husband for 20 years, but I dated a couple of people when we broke up. And
I have all three of my children have a different baby daddy, so yeah, I've done my fair share of that.
Yeah, and that's the thing, because being more on that codependent, like the more we kind of like, I would say, you know, anyone that's in my reality is more on the codependent scale. So don't mean codependent as in like we are codependent and we need people, but you're either more or you're more narc, right? So I don't get along with narcissists because I'm like, I don't like, there's nothing wrong with a narcissist. It depends on where you are on the scale, of course, with the conditioning. But if I find it really fascinating that like the energy is completely different. So that's why we get all these light workers that are broke, that are like broken, that give themselves up because they see the heart of the person, their abuser or whatever, just to be extreme. So I'm just hoping, I'm trying to explain to people, like, if you feel like you're a person who, obviously safety comes first, but if you feel like that you're a person who has these gifts and you've got this huge heart and you love the person, even though the people surrounding you are scummy or on drugs or like are doing stuff that is not of the highest vibration, then you need to really have it check into yourself and see, what is it I'm really wanting to be in this world? And am I being a contribution? Am I being the version of me that I know is to be true? Because we all have light and dark. It's just what you're kind of choosing.
Yeah. And it's interesting as well that you mentioned about the spiritual poverty. This is something that I know both you and I are really passionate about, because back in the day, the community supported the spiritual person, whether it was the priest or whether it was the shaman or the Indian chief, whatever. They were looked after by the tribe. And so there was no need to earn money, right? But if you are a human being right here, right now on this earth, and you say, I don't like money, I don't need money, then you're kidding yourself, because you've come into a reality on earth where money is a vibrational exchange. It is divine compensation for the level of service you are bringing the world. And the thing is, a lot of spiritual practitioners charge peanuts for their work. Peanuts, like, and I can say that because I started at $20 an hour for a 1 hour reading, right? Which is ridiculous, because I'm like, I make way more money than that now. But it's like, that's still what some people are charging. And I'm like, where's the energy exchange for what you're doing? And I used to have so many people that would, like, on Facebook groups say, I'm looking for a psychic medium, but not Melissa Mills prices. And I used to be like,
oh my God, they were like, I'd be like, oh my God.
I was like, oh my God, But I'm so glad, because I was setting a benchmark
Yeah.
that actually what I do gets to be rewarded abundantly, right? It is a service. It is how I provide for my family. And now we're seeing so many spiritual leaders being multimillionaires, being incredible leaders in this world, because they're shifting the paradigm that if you are spiritual, your gift needs to be given away for free. No, it doesn't, right? And you and I do a lot of free things. We do card readings, or, we'll offer scholarships, we'll do all the things, right? But there is a divine compensation. And this is the paradigm I really hope that we get to shift, is that you have this ability. We all have divine gifts, and that is how we receive abundance, our divine compensation. And so if you are someone starting out, I always say, like, okay, what's your starting price going to be? And if it's anything lower than 3 digits, I'm like, start again. Like, don't offend me, especially if you've trained with me and you charge like $50. I'm like, dude, like, that's just not okay. That's just not okay. Like, it really needs to be a representation, because our clients, right? If we charge $20 for a reading or a coaching session or whatever, which I know we don't, but let's just say we do, and we do the most epic session with that person, they can only receive $20 worth of energy exchange. That means we could have done the best session ever, the most transformational thing, the healing, the inspiration, the transformation they're going to get is only going to be $20 worth, because that's what they have put into it. So the more you invest in yourself, the more energy you're going to receive. It's an investment, right? I'm sure you are the same. That's why we charge what we do.
I literally charge I charge 4 times more than one of the best mediums in New Zealand who's been doing it forever. And I stick by that, because I'm very exclusive on who I read for, because I don't just, and I know, I'm pretty sure you're the same, Melissa. I'm not here to play and create a show for people. I'm here to help them change their motherfucking lives.
Yes.
Because I'm not going, like, I'm sick of having codependent people going, oh, tell me another, I just need to know more. I need to know what color to do my house, or should I stay with him, or should I leave? I'm like, what do you want to do? I can tell you how to enhance this. I can tell you this or this or this, but I knew from the very beginning that I started this, I can't just do readings, because I'm not a one bam ma'am, thank you ma'am.
Yeah, I'm not a one size fits all. I'm the same. I can't just offer one thing. And you see, like, back in the beginning, I wish, if I knew what I knew, whatever the saying is, if I knew what I know now, right, I would have done things very differently, very, very differently. And I was, and this is complete honesty, I was doing like 500 in-person readings a year. That's not including my Zoom or Skype, I think it was back in the day, or my live shows. This was just in person. I literally 1 year had 10 days off. Wow. 10 days off. That was all I had for that year. And I was completely burnt out. And for a few years, I felt like I don't want to do readings anymore. My clients, I could see their potential, and I could be like, I want to support you. Like, I really desire an intimate connection with my clients. That for me, I really had to battle with my own ethics of, am I truly being of the highest service to my clients doing readings? And the answer to me was no, because I was only giving them the fish. Rather than teaching them to fish, I was giving them the fish, and I was actually robbing them of their full potential. Now, am I saying that I'm never going to do readings again? No.
No, you're a manager. You never say no to anything.
Do I like getting readings? Fuck yes, right? But it's just the energy that we go into. And a lot of people go into it with, tell me everything. Like, I want to know, like, is this? And I'm like, you're giving your power away. You're completely giving your own power away. And so I was burnt out. I had a mental breakdown. I was going to do a New Zealand tour. I don't know if you remember that, but I was going to tour New Zealand, bringing the spirit hugs and all the things I was doing. And thank goodness I got pregnant with Sienna, which is my youngest. And I canceled everything because I was in bed with a mental breakdown. Like literally, I could not get out of bed. I was just exhausted. I was at the point where I'd lost my own integrity.
Well, it's like when we were saying about before, coming into what do I really, really want?
And boundaries.
You hop on that boundaries and hopping on that hamster wheel. Well, I've got this gift, so maybe I should use it. And I think that's what
I need to serve as many people as I can because I need to save the world. And then clients would ring me.
Ego. That's when ego came, and it's happened to me as well, where ego comes in. So for me, people go, I want a reading, and I'm like, yes, this amount. And it's like a ridiculous amount, but how many zeros can you put on the end of actually giving a reading? Like I see people have an hour and a half session with my soul guided reading. So it's different. It's not just a reading. It's like coaching in there as well. And their businesses completely transform like that. And I'm like, damn, I was saying that to Luke, my husband. I said, this person all had guided readings with me within the last 2 years, and they've completely pivoted in their business. Now, I'm not saying that I did that, but because they
facilitated the space and because of what you charged, they were able to fully receive all the activations, all the codings, all of the energetics needed to become that person. And I feel like this is where spiritual poverty really needs to be like squished, because we are not doing anybody a service by charging these ridiculously
cheap prices.
It does nobody any good, right? And this is what I get needy.
You get needy people. Now, I've noticed this in the coaching as well, is that the more people pay me, because obviously we have different levels of intimacy and payments and stuff, the more someone pays me, the less they need me, the less like the more they do. And the less someone pays me, the more, and it's the same with the $20 readings, because I started off with $20 readings, and then people
we've all done it. We've all done it.
We all do it. Can you tell me this? Can you tell me this? And you're like, you gave me $20 or $50, or even when it went to $100, I was like, and you want me to give you my soul? Like, and the thing is, that's what we do, is we sell our souls. And it's like, we're not here to sell our souls. We're here to hold the space for transformation and show other people how to do it. Like you said, teach people how to fish.
And that's why your program, I feel, is so amazing and such a beautiful sacred medicine in this world, because you are teaching people how to fish. You are, well, not literally how to fish, but to connect with their own consciousness, to connect with their own team of light, to use this as the greatest tool in creating the lives that we truly desire. And, like, this is a thing that I've now learned, and it took me a while to learn this, was that I would have clients say, I can only come to you at this time. Like, that's my family time. And I was so like in this loop of, I have to serve everybody, I've got to heal the world and blah, 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 that I would always compromise my family time or my own self-care time and all of that to serve them. And this is why I'm like, that's why I raised my prices ridiculous. It always felt so ridiculous when people would pay me what they did when I hiked my prices, because it was like, that's it. This is my boundary. This is what I'm doing. And I feel like someone like you is a true inspiration also for her clients of what gets to become the reality as well.
And just because someone pays you does not mean that you have to. Like I have one-to-one clients and stuff, as do you.
I have mentoring clients. Yes, it's different.
Yeah, I'm like, I'm not, I've learned not to be codependent on my coaches. Not that I have a one-to-one coach at the moment, but I used to be very codependent on my first coach. I'd be messaging her every day, what undies should I wear type of thing. Because it was like, not exactly that, but it was like, oh my God, I'm so insecure with myself. And she had to teach me how to be less codependent. We all go through this. And what I noticed as well is that when I was hairdressing for 20 years, and I finished that a few years ago now, a couple of years ago.
Is this why you always have amazing hair?
I've had hair disasters in the last, I'm not even going to talk about in the last month. I've had hair disasters. This is not a wig though, but thank God I'm a hairdresser.
Damn, you are such a fox.
But it's so interesting because I had a breakdown. So it's so funny how our
We're
story
so similar.
so similar. And what happened was this client said to me, I just had my baby. He was like a few weeks old. So I always worked when I was this pregnant, always worked when, oh my God, life was so fucking hard a few years ago. It was so hard. Anyway, Luke's an electrician. I'm a hairdresser. Now we're not. But what happened was the client said, I need to get my hair done. And I said, I can't do it. I wanted to set a boundary. So I said, I'm not available for 3 days. And I said what time it was. And I was like, I need to be with my family. And she said, oh, we'll just have to go somewhere else. I was so desperate for that $35 or whatever it was. It may even been less, probably less, that I said, don't worry about it. I'll do it. I can fit you in tonight or whatever it was. And then I didn't leave the house because I had postnatal depression and obviously exhaustion with children that didn't sleep. I had two manifest generated children, didn't sleep. And then I went outside and I started hyperventilating and had a full-on panic attack. And I just went, oh my God. And I thanked Spirit for that lesson because I was like, you know what? Well, I thanked myself for that lesson because I was like, I can't. For someone's here, I just had a mental breakdown for $35. That doesn't even make sense. And the reason why I'm sharing that is it doesn't matter if you're a medium or a coach like us, and we've got kids, so we have to do the juggling and balancing and stuff. It doesn't matter if you're a hairdresser. It doesn't matter if you work at the supermarket. It doesn't matter if you're a stay-at-home mum. If you do not know your boundaries
or your worth,
yeah, like $35 for a whole hour. I had to give up hairdressing mostly because my body was giving up. I just thought, like, this is just like, what are we doing? Other people don't give a shit about you as much as you need to give a shit about you.
Yeah. I think that's so potent. Whatever industry you're in, really start to look at yourself and go, what did it take to get here? Right? What did it take for you to get to where you are now? All the training that you've done, or maybe you've done no training, whatever it might be, is what you are bringing in a true reflection of your worth. And don't be afraid to be that person that puts their prices up, no matter what industry you're in. It was ridiculous for me to put a reading up to $300, for example, a few years ago, right? Because no one else was charging that unless you were Stu Nicholson or Calvin Cruikshank, those people, right? I was just Melissa Mills, and people would go, not paying Melissa Mills.
Yeah, but I've just got to stop you there though, because Calvin is just Calvin. Sue is just Sue.
Exactly.
Right? And you're just Melissa. And it was really funny because you and I have been on the same mastermind. And I was like, hey, Melissa, you're from New Zealand. You're like, yeah. And then you said something like, oh my God, you're doing amazing. And I was like, you had no idea who I was, but I knew exactly who you were.
But it's like, don't be afraid to set the standard, right? You can either shop at Kmart or you can shop at Gucci, right? There are always going to be, I love Kmart, don't get me wrong, right? But it's like, there are clients that are going to only ever shop here. And you have this incredible gift. You have this heart-opening message inside of you. Every single one of us does. But you won't ever get to it if you keep staying in a realm that the world keeps telling you to be in. It's like, shift it. Be the person that makes waves for other people, right? I feel that I've opened the door for a lot of spiritual practitioners to truly charge their worth, especially if they trained with me. I'm like, don't insult me, like I said, right? And it's like, you and I have done that. We've given people the opportunity to truly have the divine compensation, which they so rightly deserve. So, and we've done that using our passion. Like, I still to this day can't believe people pay me for what I do. I'm like, I love what I do.
That's the thing though. I do online readings and I'm like, I say to my husband afterwards, that is so fucking easy. Like, it is so easy. And then this person came through, this person came through, this person came through, this person came through. And I'm like, I have to go rest afterwards because obviously I can't hold energy for too long. But it's like, it's so easy and life gets to be easy. And like you just said, like when you've got this, everyone's got this gift to give out to the world, but it's not about your head and what you think you're good at. And it's not about who you think you are. because anyone who thinks this is who I am, you know, that is just a version of you. Who you are is more of a feeling of that feeling of joy and love that you expressed before. It's like, oh yes, yay, I'm in alignment. And because I'm feeling aligned and love, I'm a magnet.
Exactly.
And people like become a magnet. When I'm off, you know, and when I'm off, I'm out of alignment. I go to my head, I must do this, I must do that, must do that. And no one sees me because I'm a projector. So we're all so different, but the feeling of who you are is the feeling of joy within your heart of I am enough.
Yeah. And that is so beautiful. And remembering that we evolve. You know, back in the day, 9 years ago, I was Melissa Mills psychic medium. Now I'm Melissa Mills women's empowerment mentor. It's like it evolves. It evolves. And I want to give everybody permission that you get to change your trajectory, that you can be like you and I was a teacher, you were a hairdresser, and we just shifted. Like life might have happened for us to get there, and we've shifted. Like, and we probably don't offer what we did in the beginning as we do now. Like, it evolves, and it should evolve. Like, you know, like if you're still doing the same thing 20 years later, it's like,
it's absolutely crazy. And the thing is, people try to hold on to their conditioning. I am Victoria Bond. I am a hairdresser. I am this, I am that, I am this. And it's like, and then people hold on to that as well. This is who you are. Then when they see you changing, they're like, oh, I don't know about this. So then we get that tall poppy syndrome in New Zealand and Australia.
In New Zealand, it's
your head off, like, get down, get back into your space. And I'm like one of 5. So it's very much like, this is your role. And then I all of a sudden went, you know, fuck all the roles. I am me unapologetically. I would have never had a sleeve or a nose ring, or like wore a hat. Even like 2 years ago, I was Victoria Bond, who was just a little old hairdresser who had some gifts that she kind of whispered around. Maybe it was 3 years ago, but it was like, we are here to evolve. And this is obviously another conversation, but quantum leaping and timeline collapsing. And that's why you going from the $20 readings to the fuck it, I'm going to 300, and probably like within a certain amount of time. I went from 20 to 50 to like 250. That was really hard. And then I would make sure I was on the phone with them for like 2.5 hours.
Yeah,
and
you would always go extra, you know. Yeah, my hardest
an hour and a half. It's $1,000 or whatever it is at the moment. It might change next week. I don't know. Like, and that's the thing. We're not here to compare. How good are you? How am I good compared to her? So what should I charge with this? It's like bullshit. That's not real.
What feels in alignment for you? My hardest jump, seriously, was going from $80 an hour to $125. That was my hardest jump. It was like, oh my gosh. And then when I went from like 125 to 250, I was like 250. And then when I went from that to like, I think I can't even remember, you know, maybe it was 350. I was like 350. But going from 80 to 125 was like shitting my pants. Like, oh my God. And then I would have people say, but last week it was $80. Or I'm like,
you go, okay, yeah, now it's, now at 80. You can
have it. Yeah. It was, yeah. But I just want to say it's been a journey and an incredible one. And I know you and I are going to do phenomenal things individually and together, and it's exciting. And yeah.
Beautiful. Thank you so much. What an interesting conversation. I hope everybody listening on whatever platform you're on right now has got a lot of value from this, because as coaches and mediums as well, we want to really smash out this paradigm of what a coach is, what a channel is, and really get rid of the fear, like the fear of what that means, because you're not going to see the ooga booga scary demon man, like if you
unless you call it in, right?
Don't call it in. Don't call it in. Don't be like, oh, what spirit's on the street? Let's do a Ouija board, because you will.
Yeah, no, thank you. Yeah. All part of boundaries.
Yeah, boundaries. So you guys can check us out on our platforms. So my website is victoriabond.co.nz. What is yours, Melissa?
I am melissa-mills.com. And the reason for that, how uncanny, is melissamills.com is a New Zealand photographer in Christchurch.
Oh.
Yeah. So I find that really ironic that another Melissa Mills also lives in New Zealand. So
yeah, awesome. Also, the one thing I wanted to share for those people who are interested in doing magnificent mediumship, Melissa and I have come up with it was Melissa's idea. So I had to take her up on the invitation because I'm a projector and that is the way we do it. I am giving away a pack of Melissa's oracle cards for anyone who joins Magnificent Mediumship. Oh my God, Ken, we need to take a photo of that. So Melissa, so I need you to smile right now. So just bear with us.
it's so cheesy.
So cheesy. But you guys, okay, so basically, I'm just taking that right then before I forget. But basically, I have been on the search for oracle cards. So I did this last time at Magnificent Mediumship was open. It only happens a couple of times a year where we can do it live. And I just keep getting, I'm splenic authority. I just keep getting a no. And I'm like, that's weird. Because it's starting like next week, right? I'm like, that's weird. That's weird. And all of a sudden you're like, I've got these oracle cards. I'm like, what? Send me a photo. Oh my God, that's a thing. So they're going to be shipped to me hopefully next week or sometime in the next month. And we will be sending these out to all of those who join Magnificent Mediumship for this.
So exciting.
So
yeah, so I just want to just give them a little plug. So my shows, for those of you who are listening, was always called Whispers from Above because, like I said, clairaudient listening, right? And so I decided to create my own deck of oracle mediumship cards. So they are just beautiful messages that your loved ones want to share with you. There's 52 of them. And my mum did the artwork. And I just want to talk about this very quickly, but the saying inside is mediumship is the beautiful co-creation of the two worlds united as one. And my mum, when she did this artwork, it hadn't even we hadn't collided yet. And she drew this angel holding two worlds. And it was like, yeah, that's definitely the pack, the box, and of course the back. So I just want to share as we close off just one message that the spirit world wants
that was
to
fast.
let me just shuffle. But no, this is what we're saying. And this is the card here. So they're very, very easy to use. You can use them anytime, anywhere. They're mediumship, so they're not like sometimes you can get quite addicted to oracle cards, like, oh, what is it? Oh no, that's not the answer I wanted, blah, blah, blah. But these are just beautiful. And it says, on earth is exactly where you need to be. Give yourself every opportunity to make life beautiful with the people around you.
Oh,
isn't that the perfect message?
Perfect message for this conversation, because I reckon there's some people here that needed to hear these things about opening their gifts, but also about their worthiness, also about what they're here for. Because there's a lot of people wanting to spiritually die right now, it sounds a bit crazy, but you can't. And you can, if you want to, you can choose to, but at the end of the day, we're here and we can see joy and love in everything that we do because we're choosing to and because we own our own power. And that's not selfish. That is actually a contribution.
It's a choice. It's actually also a daily choice, right?
A moment to moment choice.
Exactly. Yes. Don't get me wrong. I have my days where I'm like, and I battled with suicide for 20 years. So yeah, I know that realm very well. But what I would say is also our loved ones in the spirit world are truly here to remind us that we are pure unconditional love, that we are infinite, that we are here to continue the legacy, right? We are the best choice to be millions of souls that want to be on earth right now. And guess what? You're here out of everybody in the cosmos, right? I don't know if my internet went funky, but you're here. You are the best choice for humanity right now. Just take a moment to feel into that. It's huge.
And you chose this. You chose this. So take some responsibility.
Earth is the perfect school, right? Earth is where you need to be right now. So enjoy it, beautiful people. Thank you, Victoria. I love you. Here's to your beautiful course that's going to just change so many people's lives. So proud of you.
Oh, thank you so much. So much love. And I'm so happy that we finally got together. We're going to do it again, people. It's going to happen. We have to because it's inevitable. And sending so much love to all of you guys. Please share this wherever you've heard this, whether you've heard this on my podcast, Melissa's podcast. Oh, yeah. So my podcast is Relationship Blocks with Victoria Bond. And what is yours, just in case people are watching this on YouTube?
So my podcast is Rise with Love.
Beautiful. Love, 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 love. And guess what? You've even got, is that love on your arm right there?
It is.
You're all
Sometimes
about the love.
people I wonder. Yeah, it's love.
Oh, gorgeous. Thank you so much, guys. I hope, and give us some feedback, like reach out, DM us or email us and tell us what you got from this. What did you love about this? Because we love people telling us what they got, because then it gives us the fuel to keep going. It's the energetic exchange. Okay. So much love to you guys. Thank you so much, Melissa, and we'll catch you later. Bye.